It's October 16th. Yeah, I saw, like, even from last night, I saw that it's Oscar Wilde's birthday. So, yeah, 100, he was born 170 years ago, man. It's like time is flying by. I mean, he's been dead for over 120 years. Wow. So, I mean, book talk. I'm talking about books I like. I've been influenced by, or just or kind of like have to do with my books or something. So somehow, but Oscar Wilde, if he was an influence, he's an old influence. So as we can see in some of his poems, let's see. So Oscar Wilde, he was born October 16th, 1854, and he died in 1900. Was an Irish poet and playwright. Lived most of his life in London. After writing different forms throughout the 80s, he became one of the most popular playwrights in the mid 1890s. He was like the first person that went on tour. He wrote poems, he wrote essays, he wrote short books. Never, no, he never really wrote a heavy novel. He, he was influenced by Walter Pater and Ruskin. So like those guys. I mean, when you got those guys, it's gonna be pretty rocking. So let's see, what do we got here? Oh, so yeah, I mean, I'm just picking a few here. Symphony in Yellow. So this, just the title itself sounds a little bit like some of the early stuff I wrote in the analog body here, which I'll be reading in November. And doing a couple readings in November. Symphony in Yellow. An omnibus across the bridge crawls like a yellow butterfly, and here and there a passerby shows like a little restless midge. Big barges full of yellow hay are moored against the shadowy wharf, and like a yellow silken scarf, the thick fog hangs along the quay. The yellow leaves begin to fade and flutter from the temple elms, and at my feet the pale green Thames lies like a rod of rippled jade. So, oh, they have like poetry rankings here. So Oscar Wilde, he's ranked 114 out of the 500 top poets. So, but Spike Milligan 52, come on. Alfred Lord Douglas, he's a poet. I think so. I guess Eliot's before him. Okay, so yeah, some of those ones I agree with. I don't know. William Butler Yeats seems a little low on this thing. Okay, so let's go. The Harlot's House. I haven't read these poems in a while. I don't know. Let's see. This is kind of a long one. Let's read a little bit of this one. But oh yeah, we caught the tread of dancing feet. We loitered down the moonlit street and stopped beneath a harlot's house. Inside, above the din and fray, we heard the loud musicians play the true Lieb Herz of Strauss, like strange mechanical grotesque, making fantastic arabesque. The shadow raced across the blind. We watched the ghostly dancer spin to sound of horn and violin like leaves, like black leaves wheeling in the wind. So he's very conventional. I mean, I guess some of the songs talking about Alexander Thoreau, he's sort of more like this kind of period in music, kind of like I don't know who's writing poetry at this time between Swinburne, English poet. I guess Walter Pater, maybe Ruskin, Browning, Wilde. I don't know, Victorian. Let's look it up. How are we doing for time? Okay, we got a lot of time. Let's give. So let's see who are we talking about here? Oh yeah, so yeah, I forgot about Matthew Arnold. I forgot about him. I haven't read him in like ages. Let's see what's the Victorian? Okay, so this is not really so much poetry. Oh yeah, it is okay. Yeah, so there's the pre-Raphaelites. I guess Swinburne's part of that. Bronte and Christina Rossetti. Yeah, I haven't read these. Elizabeth Barrett Browning, Swinburne, A.E. Housman, Gerald and Henley Hopkins. I haven't read any of these people in ages. I mean, I did read them in college. What's this? The best 19th century poems. Who do we got? Percy Shelley. Was he 19th century? Oh, I wrote very early. Okay, so he seems like a Keats, Tennyson. Yeah, yeah. Thoreau's like is a bit like kind of like gory and Victorian poets. I mean, that's how he kind of writes. And I occasionally take up the mantle, but not. I mean, some of the. Oh, is there somebody there? If you have a question, we're talking about Wilde. So let's read a couple more Oscar Wilde poems here. What do we got next? Okay, let me check. Let me check out some of this. Les Ballons. Against these turbid turquoise skies, the light and luminous balloons dip and drift like satin moons, drift like silken butterflies, reel in every windy gust, rise and reel like dancing girls, float like strange transparent pearls, fall and float like silver dust. Now to the low leaves they clang, each cloy fantastic pose, each petal of a rose staring at a gossamer string. Then to the tall trees they climb like thin globes of amethyst, wandering opals, keeping trias with rubies of the lime. So his poetry, I remember that his poetry. He's more known. He's more known for the plays and some of the essays, and he did write the Ballad of Reading Jail. He did not wear the scarlet coat, for the blood and wine are red, and wine and blood and wine were on his hands when they found him dead with the dead. The poor dead woman he loved and murdered in her bed. He walked among monks and trial men in a suit of shabby gray. A cricket cap was on his head, and his step seemed light and gay. But I never saw a man who looked so wistfully that day. So I think his early poems like didn't really rock the world. Not as much as Dorian Gray or some of the plays. But it was. I mean, it was of his time. He's much like there's like Joyce's poems. They're okay, but they're not. They're not the best. What's this? So, oh yeah, here's the one I was looking for. Okay, so The Grave of Keats. Okay, so this is probably like the best poem by Oscar Wilde. Rid of the world's injustice and his pain, he rests at last beneath God's veil of blue. Taken from life when life and love were new, the youngest of the martyrs here is lain, fair Sebastian, and as early slain. No cypress shade his grave, no funeral yew, but gentle violets weeping with the dew weave on his bones at an ever blossoming chain. Oh, proudest heart that broke for misery! Oh, sweetest lips since those of Mitylene. I think threw in like an obscure reference there. What? There's a minute. Oh, poet, painter of the English land, thy name was writ in water; it shall stand, and tears like mine will keep thy memory green, as Isabel did her basil tree. So, yeah, I mean, it's very poetic to die early. Write a couple great poems and then die in your 20s. That's like the poetic. It's a poetic cliche nowadays. But yeah, what's Mytilene? That's probably a good name. We should call it. Is that a place? Are those of Mytilene? Is that a place in Greece? Yeah, yeah. It's the capital of Lesbos. All right, there we go. What's that noise? I don't know. So, are there any questions? Anybody watching still? Oh, the left. Okay. So, yeah, I guess that's about it. Oscar Wilde. You should check him out. I definitely my friend George gave me like his play Salome, not his best work again, and then I have but it's great. I read them here because we just did Heiner Mueller and he was a great German playwright, so we have Wilde there. Okay, that's it for today. Go Dodgers.